Our continuing Beyond Belief series takes a look at mysterious religious practices around the world. Tonight, we take a look at exorcism.
The power of Christ compels you.
Exorcist, one who expels evil spirits by conjuration or exorcism.
By the judge of the living and the dead, to depart from the servant of God.
Horrific images of girls screaming in agony, their bodies twisting and contorting in unhuman ways. In truth, such theatrics are quite rare, but the actual rituals are not. Father Gary Thomas is a Catholic priest in California. He is one of the few priests trained to be an exorcist. In 2005, he was selected by his bishop to attend a Vatican-sponsored course on exorcisms.
When I went off to Rome on my sabbatical, there was a course being taught at the Regina Apostolorum Seminary at the time on exorcism and deliverance, and then took the initiative and found an exorcist in Rome from whom I could receive from him some hands-on training and mentoring, and that's how I became the mandated exorcist of the diocese.
In this class, Father Gary befriended Matt Baglio, a freelance journalist who was taking the class for research purposes.
When I met Father Gary, I was very surprised by his openness, his humility. He was very honest to me that he didn't know anything about exorcism, and I found that to be fascinating. You know, why don't priests know this stuff? Why aren't they taught things about the devil and exorcism?
Baglio combines his research and Father Gary's training in his new book, The Rite, The Making of a Modern Exorcist.
I was able to follow him through his training, and we were just able to share our experiences and really go on this journey together.
A journey that dates back to the days of Jesus.
There's also plenty of places found in the Gospels where Jesus clearly performed exorcisms and didn't simply heal people of organic maladies.
Father Gary has performed over 40 exorcisms, and he knows firsthand what an encounter with a demon is like.
Most people have to invite a demon in to themselves. I use the word metaphorically, a doorway. You have to open a door to allow a demon the possibility to enter. When you pray deliverance prayers or you pray the rite of exorcism, they can agitate the demon. And demons don't want to be agitated. They want to be secretive. They want to be silent. They don't want to give up their name. They don't want to have anything to do with anything of the sacred and the holy.
One of the things that surprised me the most when I started to see exorcisms was the relative normalcy of the people involved. I think most people assume the reactions are always going to be violent, and that's just not the case. The majority of cases that these exorcists see are very mild. Now, in a very few instances, there are said to be very strong reactions. I saw a few where the person's personality changed and their voice became very guttural and gruff.
The reality is few people realize what actually takes place during the rarely spoken about Catholic ritual until now. What you are about to hear is audio from an actual exorcism that Baglio recorded in Rome.
During the ritual, when the exorcist prays over the person and the person loses consciousness, and that's when you see these dramatic reactions, the eyes rolling up or rolling down, the whites showing, and the gruff, guttural voice.
Those prayers have power, and people aren't acting these things out because in a sense they lose control when the demon begins to be agitated. They have no control over that. Sometimes they're not even aware it's happening. They'll do all that they can to hide from anybody who invokes them to come out, to free the party from the state of oppression.
But convincing people that exorcisms are real is still a tough task.
Once I started reading up on the theology, and then later once I participated in exorcisms, I really got to see it in a new light. Exorcists don't have magic powers. They aren't charismatic individuals who have this ability to cast out demons at the snap of a finger. Really, the power comes through the prayer.
Just because we can't see something or feel something or measure something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And Satan's greatest deception is convincing people that Satan doesn't exist.
So are demonic possession and exorcism rituals the products of an overactive imagination? Exaggerated plots of Hollywood movies? Or are they simply beyond belief?
The origins of Satan are certainly mysterious. There are no facts surrounding where or when he emerged. This mystery has led to numerous legends that have surfaced over the centuries, explaining where this evil icon got his start. One tale explains that he was once even close to God. The beast we know as Satan was once one of God's most favored angels, but he possessed greed and envy, and one day asked the Lord for more. He requested that he be given his own kingdom to reign over. God granted him his wish, and with one sweep of his mighty wrath, Satan was cast out of heaven forever. As the story has it, Satan's fall from grace was not a lonely one.
According to tradition, it was the most powerful and intelligent angelic being. He loved himself, and finally he decided to have his own path, his independence, and later he became more and more selfish and finally completely evil.
According to this legend, he reached out, grabbing angels along the way, and in hell, those saints became demons, workers to carry out Satan's evil tasks. In this new domain, he was the ruler of all and had total control over anyone who stepped foot into this dreadful inferno. Eventually, Satan became aware of his powers and honed in his new abilities.
Most Orthodox theologians would say that that can be through the influence of the devil. Now, it doesn't mean that all temptations come from the devil. You know, in fact, there's a range of opinion about that.
Demonic possession is a preternatural phenomenon. It's not ordinary. Sin is ordinary. Anybody can sin. Anybody can do sins. Even if demons would not exist, sin could exist on the earth.
He sent his demons into the world to bring havoc. Through his work, people were tempted to commit sin, and in any way move away from God and closer to him. The demons would sometimes whisper into the ears of innocents to try and convince them to commit sins. The determination and strength of Satan's work would escalate and eventually attempt to take over one's mind and body with an evil spirit, unfortunately, with success. It is known that the Church does not officially acknowledge this or any other legend surrounding the origins of Satan. What we do know is that however Satan got his start, he is present today, always tempting us to drift away from our Savior. The work of evil spirits possessing one's mind and body has been occurring for centuries upon centuries. It is always an ongoing battle to fight the elements of evil and sin. This battle has been happening since the days of Christ.
Sam, now she told police that she thought her girls were possessed by demons.
Well, in fact, Leon, she did that. The case is still at the pretrial stage, but spectators are packing in every day as the judge continues to watch the interview that police did with Benita Jacks 18 months ago, just after she was arrested. Detective, 4 dead kids, only one person there is the mother. What are you going to think? Jax, it wasn't me. Detective, if you didn't murder them, who murdered them? That was one of the exchanges Judge Frederick Weisberg saw today as he, along with lawyers and spectators, watched videotape of detectives interrogating 35-year-old Benita Jax hours after authorities discovered the children's mummified bodies. Jax told lawmen her children were all demon-possessed, especially 17-year-old Brittany, whom she called Jezebel, saying the girl tried to choke her and push her down the stairs. Brittany's body was found in a sealed room with a knife and blood on the floor. Spectators described the tape as disturbing.
No one came to the children's rescue.
She got everything in place on what she wanted to say and what she wanted to do.
So you don't think she's crazy?
No, I don't.
MPD Detective Daryl Richmond was one of the interrogators on the tape. Jax told him and his partner that day that her younger daughters, Tatiana, age 11, Nakaya, 6, Asia, 5, were also demon-possessed. They were found laid side by side in a room. She said they died from lack of food. Detectives expressed exasperation. Detective, you've been in that house with 4 dead bodies for months. I can't understand how you can stay in there all that time. Jax, I'm not saying it was easy. None of this has been easy.
Many people think that in exorcism all the time are happening preternatural phenomena. But that's not true. Usually the demonic possession is just as is described in the Gospel. If you read the Gospels, in that simple way is demonic possession. But even in the Gospel appear some cases that go farther than standard possession. Sometimes happen very strange things that we cannot explain by natural laws. I have seen, for example, to do a question with my mind, and after 2 minutes the demon inside the possessed person answering that question. I have asked things in different languages, especially Latin, and even children, they understand the question and they answer exactly, specifically what you have asked. I have seen in a case that that demon knew the whole Bible by memory and by chapter and verse. But what is more shocking for everybody is levitation. In all these years and so many cases, only twice happen in the chapel that the possessed person levitates from the ground, yes, something like that. But you have to see hundreds of cases to witness that. Most of the time is just what appears on the Gospel. Is a person that after doing some esoteric act, something related to esotericism, began to change completely in some minutes every day, with other face, with other voice, and when he finished he said, "What I have to say, I did not want to do that." And if even appear repulsion to holy things, holy water, crucifixes, going to Mass because they feel bad, physically bad, then you have enough suspicion to think that it can be demonic possession.
Straight out to Michael Brown, anchor reporter, South Carolina Radio. Michael, what can you tell us?
Well, as you just heard, the mother, Amber Brackey, 19-year-old mother, she was arrested on January 14th, but she was denied bond. And the reason why she was denied bond is because they're saying she's at flight risk because she said she was going to Florida to see her mother. And then her boyfriend, John Weaver, he was 20 years old at the home at the time of the child's death when she slapped the child because she said he was possessed. He was, his bond was set at $50,000, and he was released on February 4th.
bagus. Ikut saya. Asyhadu Allah ilaha illallah wa asyhadu وأشهد أن محمدا Rasulullah. Aku bersaksi bahwa tidak ada Tuhan yang disembah kecuali Allah. Dan aku bersaksi bahwa Muhammad utusan Allah. Wahai Idrus, kamu sekarang sudah Islam, kamu mau ubah nama atau nama kamu yang semula Idrus? Idrus. Itu saja? Idrus. Itu saja? Oke. Kamu sekarang dari manusia lagi, boleh? Kamu berjanji dan kamu tidak akan masuk lagi. Oke, kamu balik ya. Kamu balik ke alam kamu dan kamu jangan sekali-kali mengganggu manusia, siapapun dia. Saya berjanji. Saya ajarkan Islam, mau? Mau? Bagus. Ikut saya. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar
This 11-year-old boy claims he's being haunted by a ghost. For the past week, word of the so-called Duppy has caused alarm on Martin Street in Spanish Town. The family says they've tried praying for the boy and taking him to church, but the ghost would only follow them inside, causing havoc, pulling the boy and throwing objects wherever he goes. Our news team was in the neighborhood Wednesday night to witness some of the events that have residents convinced of an otherworldly presence. Watch closely and judge for yourself.
Right now.
He's touching your nose?
Yeah.
Still touching you?
Yeah.
They say that's how it's been for the past several days. The boy says the ghost is actually a friend who died 4 years ago. He claims the friend suddenly started appearing to him wearing a white top, black pants and a black watch. It's been nothing but chaos for the family and neighbors.
Him licking him down, him drawing him flinging the figurine, him fling the slippers, he lick me in my back, he lick me in my ears temple with like the little stone. Him just a fling and draw him out of the bed, draw him in a corner, draw him everywhere and go.
I go around there and I feel this whole pa eat and thing. So like I couldn't breathe and I end up that him run out and me there and I say, yo, me not see nothing. So I end up I come out now and when I turn my back, one lick me get in my back with a figurine.
Watch again as our news crew filmed the second incident similar to the accounts we were given. This time, the boy claims he sees the ghost standing near the wall and goes over to stand next to it.
Touch you? Tell me when him a touch you. Him a touch you? Him a touch your foot? Yeah! Yeah, what?
So, is the Martin Street Duppy real, or are the events the expert acting of a mischievous child? Kalila and
All right, it's a picture you really have to look at, and when you do, you'll notice something's just not normal. In fact, it might be paranormal.
Fox 31's Tammy V. Hill got the photo from an Aurora couple, and she's here with how they say it changed their lives. Tammy?
Ron and Libby, they say the proof is in this picture. It may be hard to see. I mean, who would expect an evil spirit to show up at a wedding anniversary reception with all that fancy clothing and wedding cake? An Aurora man says it happened. We let you decide. Like the death of a season, Joe Martinez says drugs were killing his soul.
As I look at it, I carry it wherever I go.
Until an image within a picture saved his life.
I right away thought it was Satan. I really thought, I said, man, you're really walking with Satan.
This picture was taken at his in-laws' anniversary 8 years ago.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing at a 50th wedding anniversary.
And it languished in a photo album until this year, when they finally noticed what lurked over Joe's left shoulder.
There's good and evil in life. There's the good on the right-hand side of me, and there's the evil on the left-hand side.
It looks like a dog, but Joe says
it was a demon.
This is interesting.
We showed the photo to Rocky Mountain Paranormal Research Society, which has studied unexplained phenomena for 10 years.
The majority of the cases, 99% of the cases, are explainable by other means.
This one, though, he says he doesn't have enough evidence to make a determination.
That's very strange.
This photo expert of 20 years says the picture looks authentic.
It doesn't look like it was double printed or spliced in any way. There's true grain. The grain is the same all throughout this photograph, so it's uniform.
I carry it wherever I go.
The Martinezes say they know the image is real.
I always prayed to the Lord and told him, look, you know, I can't do it alone.
And they credit it with helping Joe's recovery.
I'm going to stay clean.
It's a reminder that the solemn season of his past is behind him.
I have to, because I've got no other, there's not another high left in me.
Now, Joe says other portraits taken that night by other family members in the same area didn't show the dog. Now, Joe carries that picture with him and tells people at schools and at rehab centers that there is evil out there when you are into drugs. Ron and Libby.
At least 4 people were shot dead and 13 were wounded as overnight the battle for Tahrir Square in central Cairo took on an increasingly violent turn. Pro-Hosni Mubarak supporters are said to have opened fire on anti-government protesters. Egypt's army has now begun deploying tanks in among the protesters. The nighttime deaths add to those killed yesterday, underlying just how dangerous the demand for democracy has become. Many see the increase in violence as an attempted government-backed crackdown on the pro-democracy demonstrations. Mubarak promised on Tuesday to surrender power in September to try to defuse the unprecedented challenge to his 30-year rule, but his refusal to go immediately angered protesters. Hours later, the army told the reformers
John Dee was one of the most brilliant thinkers of the 16th century. A true Renaissance man, he was at the forefront of scientific and philosophical thought in one of the great ages of learning and discovery. Dee became a key figure in the Elizabethan court and one of Queen Elizabeth's most trusted advisors. But all this was not enough. In his insatiable quest for knowledge, Dee strayed into the forbidden world of the occult.
He was trying to find the very essence of life. He was trying to find the secrets of the universe. And for John Dee, that meant communing with angels, communing with demons, risking his soul.
I seek the treasure of heavenly wisdom and knowledge. So why do they condemn me as a companion of hellhounds and a conjurer of wicked and damned spirits?
As Dee went deeper into the occult, he turned his back on Queen Elizabeth and set off on a journey that took him beyond the boundaries of religion and morality. He risked everything in his quest, and his diaries record how ultimately he became the instrument of forces beyond his control.
Angel magic, whatever Dee said, was black magic.
Dee was the model for Marlowe's Faust. Dee was the model Shakespeare's Prospero. This is somebody who is the quintessential magician. This guy was prepared to storm heaven.
Los habitantes de una ciudad están atemorizados ante lo que parece ser el ataque de unos extraños seres que muchos aseguran son parecidos a brujas. Desde México, Alejandro Mendoza tiene los impactantes testimonios.
Por ejemplo, ¿por qué no siguió derecho?
Tras revisar una y otra vez el video, Jerónimo junto a los integrantes del OVNI Club Nuevo León comenzaron a notar que aquella mancha flotante lucía como una persona encorvada que vestía una túnica con capucha puntiaguda. Incluso hubo quien aseguró que parecía volar sobre una escoba. Así llegaron a una primera conclusión: tal vez aquello era una bruja.
Míralo, míralo, ahí está.
Pero esa presunta aparición era solo un caso más, hasta que el testimonio de este policía cambió el panorama.
Veo una persona vestida de negro, así con plumas, 2 garras negras, así negras. Me asusto y me doy cuenta que donde la veo así, pero ella iba agachada. Entonces me hago para atrás, me meto otra vez al cuarto donde estaba y de este lado, al cerrar la puerta, venía otro.
Según él, una noche cuando vigilaba este lote de autos, recibió la visita de 2 seres que volaban sobre el Panteón de Santa Catarina, ubicado a espaldas del cerro donde fue grabada la enigmática figura. 2 años antes, Leonardo Samaniego relató un encuentro similar. Curiosamente, él también era un policía.
Estaba vestido de negro y traía unos ojos grandes y tez morena. Pero ya no la alcancé a ver más. Estaba vestido de negro, traía un gorro con una punta hacia atrás. Pero no tenía nada de escoba, nada. Pero iba volando sola.
El oficial Samaniego, quien trabaja en un municipio distinto al de su colega, contó mientras era auxiliado por paramédicos que una bruja lo había atacado, dejándolo inconsciente.
The ball moves across the room. He's screaming and crying. Little boy in my room, he came out of the closet. I went, okay, you're scaring me. Can you stop? This is really frightening.
The way it flew to the bottom of the screen, that's the part that actually freaked me out.
I didn't know what to even think that it was. I was creeped out.
I would feel that there was just something in the room with me.
Things started flying off the shelves, and we were all just speechless.
And sometimes those feelings would be so strong, and I could feel my hair follicles raise up.
I couldn't see it until I took a photograph. I've never seen anything like that.
Eyes were like saucers.
Did we capture a ghost?
There is something in this house. As soon as you walk in, you want to walk out. Is there anyone in here?
It's Sharon Tate.
You know, we hear a lot about angels this time of year. Many people believe that angels surround us every day. And one woman in North Carolina believes that an angel saved her daughter's life.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Angels have been a part of the wonder of the season since the very first Christmas.
Very good.
This year, that wonder is real for Colleen Banton.
We've been praying for a miracle.
15 years ago on Christmas Day, Colleen's daughter Chelsea was born 5 weeks premature. All her life, she had been plagued with chronic health problems. And this past September, a severe bout of pneumonia almost took her life. Chelsea was put on a ventilator for nearly 2 months, and when doctors told Colleen that there was little more they could do, she made the heartbreaking decision to take Chelsea off life support. Then something strange happened.
This light appeared.
It was a flare of light on a television monitor outside Chelsea's room.
I said, oh, wow. That's an angel.
Colleen managed to capture this photograph. Moments later, doctors came with good news. Chelsea's condition had miraculously improved.
このカメラ、怪我をした男性が落としたカメラですね。何か不気味なものが映ってます。なんだろう。 あっち。
あれ、誰かいる。
The time is 6:26. Okay, so you know how we ask you to send in your pics so we can put them in our newscast? Well, you got to see what one viewer claims his friend found at a hunting camp in Berwick. I really don't even know what that is. The guy who sent it in didn't want us to mention his name, but tells us this is totally for real. He says last weekend his friend's family found one of their hunting camps destroyed, but the SIM card was still there, and so was this crazy image.
Meet professional demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren.
A poltergeist can be terrifying. So anybody says that a poltergeist is mischievous, they better take a second look.
During their 50 years of hunting ghosts, Ed and Lorraine claim to have encountered hundreds of poltergeists. They've also been the subject of numerous books and have consulted on several high-profile cases, including the Amityville Horror.
Poltergeist is nothing more than a devil or a demon as far as we're concerned. People say, this guy's going back into the medieval ages. There are no such things as devils or demons. Yes, there are.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
The Warrens feel that some of the most compelling evidence ever recorded has been videotaped by them in this Connecticut home. For months, the family, whose faces are obscured to protect their identity, have been tormented by what they fear is a poltergeist. Ed attempts to communicate with the troubled spirit.
One knock for yes, two for no. Are you a man? Are you a boy?
The mother leans against the kitchen table, her hands in full view as Ed continues asking questions.
You want the people in this house to move? One knock for yes, two for no. Yes. Okay.
We couldn't sell.
Who is it that you don't like the most here? Is it? Is it? Is it their father? Is it their mother?
Oh my God.
Okay. I command you to reveal your identity.
Next, Ed decides to confront the poltergeist alone.
Give me some sign. Is that you moving something? Give me some sign that you're here. What I did was use religious provocation. I have to provoke it into some type of outward manifestation. And that was my point in doing that. In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to reveal your identity.
On the following night, the family reports that the poltergeist seems to be more active than ever. Only now, its attention is focused on the family's 10-year-old daughter.
The little girl is trying to do her homework, but you can see that the chair keeps sliding backwards.
You're holding it down, aren't you? It's got that much strength to it.
Now, if you watch, you can see the little girl's legs are up on the rungs of the chair. She's not pushing herself up from the floor. The mother is not tipping that chair backwards. No. Nobody is touching that table. The table moves of its own volition.
The Warrens quickly arrange for 3 priests to perform an exorcism in the home, and the disturbance ends. But for how long? Could the angry poltergeist ever return?
We have found that it can be quieted down, but then it'll escalate again. We still keep our fingers crossed because it could, and we hope and pray it don't.
What's your name? Yeah.
pushing that, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to keep my fingers on it. L I S A. Lisa? Who's Lisa?
Did you push that?
I did not push that.
Seriously, none of you guys push that over to the X like that?
No.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
You guys doing something underneath the table?
No.
No.
That looked like it moved all on its own.
Give it another shot, see what happens.
Okay.
And you guys are saying you're not pushing this, right?
No.
This thing's just like a regular board string to Captain Howdy. Not pushing that.
Mm-mm.
Come on, you guys are around,
That
right?
is too weird for me. Mm-mm. And you want me? Mm-mm.
Are you okay? Oh my god! It's alright. What's wrong? Get rid of it. Bathard! Are you okay? Oh my god, you guys! Bathard! Okay. Like a little bird. Bathard. How do you get rid of it going that saline? Bathard. Are you okay? Come here, guys. Come on. Bathard. Oh my god. Bathard. Do you need water? You want some water? Guys, can we get some water, please?
Is there anyone here?
Besides us, besides you.
Come on.
Let's switch spaces. You write down. All right.
You record.
Monica, you got this. You got this, girl. Yeah, girl. All right. Watch out, Ouija board. We're coming for you. Okay. Is there anyone here with us? Are you? No. Are you touching? Are you? No. Barely. I barely have my hands on here at all. What? Wow. That is really moving now. Yes! Okay. What is your name? Ooh. Wow. What is the deal with these swirly things? His name is 8. Z O Z O Z O. Oh my. Is your name Zoe? Oh, it's so creepy. Oh my gosh. What? No. Okay. Is your name Zozo? Zozo the clown. That is so creepy. What the? Monica, what are you doing? Hey,
Monica!
Oh
my god, Monica!
This is the most notorious haunted house in the world. It is to be found in the sleepy seaside town of Amityville, an hour away from the hustle and bustle of New York City. 30 years ago, a truly horrifying crime was committed here, when 6 members of the DeFeo family were shot dead in a single night. Even now, the details of exactly how these brutal murders were carried out remain shrouded in mystery. 1 year later, the Lutz family moved in. They fled from the house, having lived there for only 28 days, claiming that they had been driven out by terrifying and unexplained supernatural forces. Their story was the subject of a media frenzy, turned them into celebrities and became a worldwide bestseller, The Amityville Horror. It would spawn numerous books and films, including one that was released just this year. Mediums and psychic investigators have claimed there is a curse on the property. Others say that the Lutz's story is no more than a clever money-making scheme, built on the gruesome history of the house.
It's probably one of the most haunted homes in the world. It's certainly one of the most publicized haunted homes in the world.
Whatever happened, it was a confluence of events and personalities, and it meshed to form the perfect psychic storm.
It's just this web of lies, and the motivation was simple enough.
They produced a beautiful commercial scam. Their version is not a true story, but if they call it a true story, you know, how can you say that they're liars?
There were too many things that had happened and were going on to sit there in denial that something wasn't right with this.
I guess the Amityville Horror really is supposed to be me, because I'm the one that got convicted of killing my family. I'm the one who said did it. I'm the one that's supposed to be possessed by the devil.
What is the truth about the house in Amityville? And is there really a curse on all who live there?
Well, we went to a prayer meeting like we normally do Sunday night, and came home like any other ordinary night, went to bed.
3:23, I awoke, and I found my husband in a state that I've never, ever seen him in. I heard him scream out, pray for me, the Lord has taken me to hell.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, I was picked up and taken by the Lord and dropped off in a prison cell in hell. It was rough-hewn stone walls with bars. I was awake and cognizant. It was not a dream. I knew I was actually in this place. My mouth was so dry, and I noticed the first thing was the tremendous heat. There's not enough air. This is how you have to breathe in hell. It's like... And I noticed there were these huge creatures in this cell, and they were just cursing God. Then they directed that hatred towards me, and they had absolutely no mercy. One picked me up and threw me into the wall. The other one grabbed me, picked me up. I just was like a little rag doll in its clutches. And I noticed the darkness was so intense, and there was an evil presence about the darkness, and you could feel it. I could see flames in the distance. The flames were raging hundreds of feet in the air. I could hear them.
August 1977 to September 1978, a series of events took place which stunned the nation and have subsequently become one of the world's most shockingly infamous poltergeist cases.
You understand that you really shouldn't be in this house?
That was a very strange house, and something very strange was going on there.
Everything that you know about poltergeists occurred in that house.
They were scared out of their wits. They just didn't know what was going on.
Reports of levitation.
Floating around the room in midair, and it frightened the life out of her.
Possession.
There was no doubt that the voice was coming from Janet herself.
Come on, my name's Boris. Let me hear you say it. Alex.
Furniture and objects being moved and thrown when nobody was around.
A sofa would flip over or a chair would move across the room.
Just couldn't document everything on this case. I mean, things happening absolutely all the time.
This was unlike any case that had gone before and left a permanent mark on all those that were involved. This is the story of the Enfield poltergeist.
This weird tale begins with these two men, Guy Winters and Terry Lambert. For years, Guy and Terry have heard rumours about a haunted mansion on the outskirts of town.
People would see a ghost of a female, an apparition that would drift down the lane that led to this old house.
Intrigued, the men decide to investigate the deserted house with their own cameras. This is the actual videotape from that unforgettable night.
Storm was going, lightning crashing.
Lightning like I've never seen. It was like dripping plastic out of the sky. Really strange.
And in the clump of trees there was this big two-story old brick mansion, abandoned, kind of dilapidated looking.
Unaware of what awaits them, Guy and Terry go inside.
Everything throwing shadows through the house, so it was pretty eerie. And basically, we took a series of pictures all through the house, the upstairs, downstairs, stairwells.
Terry claims that he then ventured back outside to take more photos.
I took a series of 3 pictures of an upstairs window. And after I took that series of pictures, I went around to the back of the home, and I took a picture of a doorway.
Still in the house, Guy continues his investigation. But suddenly, he feels that he is no longer alone.
I felt this presence come over me, and the smell was like sulfur and roses. Real strong smell.
You hear that? Heartbeat.
Bump, 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 bump. And this heartbeat was in my head, but it wasn't my own heartbeat. I really felt like I was dying. This feeling of anxiety was just overwhelming. And I was afraid I wasn't going to make it out of there.
Guy and Terry run from the house, afraid to stop until they reach the safety of their van. But this ghost story is far from over. When Terry develops the film from his still camera, he's shocked by what he sees. 3 consecutive pictures of what appears to be a woman glowing in a pink light, floating in the 2nd-story window. Another pink shape is captured at the back door.
Pretty much, it blew me away, I have to say. I've never seen anything like that on film.
Could this be the ghost of Greencastle, or merely a photographic abnormality? To find out, Guy and Terry showed the pictures to their friend, photo expert Mick Orman.
What is in the picture came from the negatives. It's very interesting, and a little unnerving.
Next, these mysterious images were analysed by a computer graphics expert, Sean Dempsey. It's during Sean's high-tech examination that the photograph reveals another startling secret.
And then I tried something called bas relief, which basically takes the light and dark parts of the picture and emphasizes them. And I got the creepiest thing from this one photo. Her face, and I don't know how else to describe it, but that to me just looks like a skull. I've got to be honest, it's either a real photo of a ghost or it was done with a photographic technique that I don't know about.
With experts at a loss for answers, Guy and Terry have their own theory. They now believe they've photographed a real ghost. But if it's true, then whose spirit is it? Guy believes that the Pink Lady is a woman who lived and died here in the early 20th century. Her name, Irene O'Hare, the same name that they found scratched onto one of the bedroom walls. Guy and Terry make more trips to the mansion, but the ghost of Greencastle does not reappear. However, the men capture two other images that are just as difficult to explain. The first is this photograph of what appears to be a woman in a flowing gown. Due to her intense colour, she is known as the Gold Ghost. The second strange event occurs while Guy takes pictures of the mansion. Suddenly, three cloud-like shapes fly by. Is this merely fog or some type of mist? If so, it would need a strong breeze to travel this fast, but Guy's clothes and hair never move, indicating that no wind is blowing. Unfortunately, these and other questions may never be answered, because the mansion was destroyed to make way for this cornfield. But the memories of the Greencastle mansion live on with Guy and Terry, who may have done the unthinkable. Captured images of visitors from the other side.
This story begins at night. A man drives down a dark road. It may be unfamiliar to him, and he may not be sure where he's going. After a while, he feels a little lost. Suddenly, up ahead, a figure looms in his headlights. He slows down and sees that it's a young girl hitchhiking. It's strange that she'd be out here in the middle of nowhere. He stops to ask if everything is okay. She asks for a ride home. He says that's fine and tells her to hop in. As they head down the road, he notices that she looks pale. The air around her feels cold, and she's strangely quiet. Finally, the driver asks where she's going.
So, where are you heading to?
She gives him directions to her home. She says she hasn't been there in a long time. The driver thinks she's a runaway, and that he's doing a good deed by giving her a lift. They pull up to her parents' house in a typical neighborhood, and she climbs out. But as the driver is about to take off, he notices that the strange girl has left her scarf on the passenger seat. Looking around, he's surprised to discover she's gone. Weird. He didn't see her go inside. So with the scarf in hand, he heads for the house to return it. He knocks on the door and is met by a normal-looking gentleman. The driver explains about giving the daughter a ride and how she left her scarf in the car. Suddenly, the man's wife reacts with shock.
She just kind of disappeared to
The driver wonders what's wrong.
That scarf belonged to our daughter.
The husband brings him inside and explains that his daughter died in a car crash 5 years ago, on the same dark road where she was picked up. She was buried with the scarf. Our driver's young passenger was a ghost. This classic tale is one of the oldest urban legends. Versions of it go back to the New Testament. In Acts 8:26, an Ethiopian traveling in his chariot is met by the Apostle Philip, who baptizes him and then vanishes. Similar stories about Pele, Hawaii's volcano goddess, have been told since the days of the horse-drawn carriage. Tradition says she first came to Hawaii in search of a fiery home. To this day, she's said to appear along Hawaiian roads, often as an old woman asking for a ride.
The Vanishing Hitchhiker is closer to a traditional ghost story. What makes the Vanishing Hitchhiker a modern story is the automobile, but in fact the idea of roadside ghosts hitching rides is a very old idea. The particular vanishing hitchhiker story does seem to have antecedents that go back several centuries that we can document. There are some stories that deal with people on horseback who are accosted by a ghost who leap up behind them, and they have to get rid of them. But some of the elements of the vanishing hitchhiker are not there, such as it's very clear in these stories that this is a ghost or some kind of supernatural entity, whereas in the vanishing hitchhiker, that's only revealed at the end. We don't know what this hitchhiker is until the person discovers that the hitchhiker's been dead for several years.
Tia, escolta, ho sents o no? Va, corre, corre, tia, va!
Zozo.
What the? Hey, Monica! Oh my God, Monica! Monica, calm down!
Are you okay? Bethard, oh my God! Bethard! Bethard! What's wrong? Get rid of it! Bethard! Are you okay? Oh my God, you guys! Bethard! Like a little bird! Bethard! How do you get rid of it? Come on, Celine! Bethard! Are you okay? Come here, guys. Come on. Bethard! Oh my God! Bethard! Do you need water? You want some water? Guys, can we get some water, please?
Itu saja? Oke. Kamu sekarang dari manusia lagi, boleh? Kamu janji, dan kamu jangan masuk lagi. Oke, kembali ya. Kembali ke alam kamu, dan kamu jangan sekali-kali mengganggu manusia, siapapun dia. Saya berjanji. Saya ajarkan, mau? Mau?